Hello and welcome to Live Freight. Increase profits by exposing your cargo and finding more loads. We are changing the future of moving cargo using cloud-based and machine learning technology. You can now register as a cargo supplier who exposes cargo loads to transporters and monitor movements of your cargo loads for free. As a transporter, you will be able to find loads and monitor movements of vehicles. Live Freight, connecting cargo suppliers and transporters.
Officially, good morning. Good morning, Rian.
Good morning, Sonwabo.
Welcome back to our session on tech and access to international markets. We are happy that you are back with us, and a quick conversation. How did you find the last broadcast that you had, Andrea and Rian?
First, thank you very much for having us again, Sonwabo. We really appreciate this. And the first one, to me, it was very excited. It was new for myself, but I've seen it's quite functioning very nice. And we have enjoyed the conversation that we had the first time with you. Thank you again for that.
But how was your response from your potential client base and your clients?
Andrea?
It was very positive. We've had more people coming to us with inquiries and wanting to learn more about the application. So it's definitely very beneficial to us, especially with exposure in the African market with countries outside South Africa. So thank you very much, Sonwabo.
It's our pleasure. I think let's go straight into your presentation, Andrea.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. Today, I'm going to introduce you to Live Freight Transporter and Cargo Finder. But firstly, I'm sure you are familiar with a dating app. When it comes to connecting two isolated souls together, a lonely transporter and a lonely supplier, what better way than a logistics dating app? Just as in the traditional dating app, Live Freight's goal is to conveniently connect logistics people and like-minded suppliers, goods and drivers who wouldn't have met otherwise. And with the petrol prices skyrocketing, we need to think of ways to generate more income to pay our fuel. We need to get our produce moved to the market at more affordable prices. We therefore need to implement new technology in order to achieve this. Live Freight is the perfect match for suppliers and transporters, tying the knot between cargo and transport. With Live Freight, you will save more time and money than any conventional logistics platform out there. And with the current socio-economic status, who doesn't want to save? With the app, you can find loads and transporters in your area, and the transport journey is automated for you, all in the palm of your hands. You drastically will cut down on your overhead costs as you will have an efficient transportation management system for your business. Our vision is to enable cargo suppliers and transporters to move and monitor cargo in transit in real time. We also want to improve vehicle use efficiency, utilization, and delivery time in order to reduce pollution from truck spare parts and unnecessary empty return trips. And essentially, this will increase profitability. So Live Freight is a multinational enterprise, and we implement aggressive, disruptive fourth industrial revolution technology, which is cloud native and functional. You can access the application from any smart device, such as a laptop, a tablet, a desktop computer, iPad, you name it. And the loads are listed by the suppliers according to weight, category, source address, and destination on the database. And this algorithm enables transporters to find cargo loads specific to their vehicle's capacity around any geographic location for any future dates. Live Freight really is a logistics match made in heaven. The application caters for any cargo loads, from small parcels up to big bulk mining contracts, and loads with multiple drop-offs can also be added on the app with ease. By using this software as a service, you will quickly go from emotionally drowning in exhausting paperwork to efficiently managing all your logistics, your transport processes on one app from anywhere. You can work from home while being entirely in the loop with your cargo or transport business. So, what is our competitive edge? Our application can be used at no cost, unlike the Tinder swindler. The transporters pay a few cents per kilometer only for successfully obtained loads. Currently, we offer the lowest rates in the market. And unlike many dates we've all been on, there are no hidden costs involved, and there's no need for expensive service or software. LiveFreight offers immense savings to the transport industry. The application completely cuts out phone calls, bidding platforms, and time-consuming processes. LiveFreight also has a very powerful socio-economic impact, and our core value is self-empowerment of entrepreneurs throughout Africa. How many people use private taxis in the locations to get to work? You see, for the rest of the day, the driver hangs around waiting for clients. And time is money, so why waste time? By joining LiveFreight, anyone with a vehicle can start his or her own transport business. Thus, we are empowering entrepreneurs from a grassroots to corporate level. LiveFreight empowers any individual that has access to a smart device and a vehicle or cargo to essentially become an entrepreneur. And LiveFreight is also positioned to gain great favor in all social development circles. So, to mitigate business risk, LiveFreight has implemented a continuous rating system and a verification process. We rate suppliers by communication with the transporter. A supplier is also rated by the accuracy of their trip and cargo information. And very importantly, the cargo supplier is also rated by payment punctuality. Transporters are also rated by communication, and they're rated by their punctuality and service, and importantly, how the goods were handled in transit, and lastly, the appearance of the vehicle and the driver. Our goal is to remove dishonest, corrupt, non-performing, and non-competitive role players. And transparency will drive improved performance and cost-effective logistics operations. Due to its technological scalability, LiveFreight is already available in 57 countries worldwide. LiveFreight is rolling out a new era for the love of logistics. And LiveFreight is proof that Africa has its own solutions and is critical to establishing its own success. Africa's time is now, a better life for all, and LiveFreight is a catalyst to achieve this. Thank you very much. If you want to contact us, you can contact us at marketing@livefreight.com. It's livefr8.com, or you can visit our website, livefreight.com. I'm now going to move on to a brief tutorial video on how you can register on LiveFreight app. You visit livefreight.com. Let me just start this video from the start. Sorry. So I'm basically going to explain how you can register. You visit livefreight.com. You click on Get Started. If you're a supplier, you scroll down to LiveFreight for suppliers. If you're a transporter, you scroll down to LiveFreight for transporters. You then select Get Started. The application will then take you to a new menu where you must select if you're registering as an individual or a company. You then fill in all the required details, and companies, for example, need to upload their company registration documents and, if applicable, also their BEE certificates. You also need to make sure when you enter the geographic location of yourself or your company that it is the physical address is a Google pop-up address. That's a very important point that I need to make because our application is linked to Google Maps. You then upload a copy of your ID or your passport by simply clicking on the icon next to the ID or passport and taking a photo of it. You then enter your password, and you must ensure that the information that you have entered is all correct. And then you also select I am not a robot. Let's check. So as you can see, we also have our terms and service, our data security policy and disclaimer, as well as the privacy policy all in place. You will then receive an email in order to verify your account. You simply open your email. Also make sure to check your spam folder just in case. You then click on verify your email. You will then be taken to the next step. You click on just simply click on set up account. You must then select your country as we are active in 57 countries. You then simply enter your cell phone number and make sure that it's entered correct. And you click on send link for the application. You will then receive an SMS with the link to install the application. You simply click on the link to the app, as it is a cloud native application. At the top right corner, you will see an icon to install the cloud application on your device. You can also select browser options and simply add it to your home screen if you do not see that option. And that is the cycle complete in order to register on LiveFreight as a supplier or a transporter. Okay, so Nwabu, should I
Hi,
go?
Andrea. Hi.
Yes.
You are done.
Yes.
Okay, we're back. We're back on a platform that we can all talk now equally and converse. You've got NS that has responded to your presentation. I just wanted to see. You must see the remark that he's got. I must say your presentation was good. It was clear for everyone to understand what you're all about. But for emphasis purposes, I think we need to go through few questions so that we can have a conversation and you can give clarity more.
Okay.
And I think Rian is normally the one that normally takes questions, and I think he enjoys answering questions. He's passionate about the industry. Rian, who can use the app and benefit from using it? I know Andrea has presented, but I just wanted to put emphasis.
Yes, no, thank you very much, Zonwabo. That is a very important question, and I believe there's a lot of our listeners that would like to hear the answer. LiveFreight is designed and developed to cater for any cargo that can be moved by road. So from small parcels right up furniture, livestock, anything that you can move by road, we can cater for and we can accommodate that on LiveFreight. And then also the transporter side, we cater for all vehicles that can transport goods by road, from motorcycles, one-ton pickups, enclosed, refrigerated, non-refrigerated trucks, tippers, all sizes, tankers, all sizes, flat decks, taut liners. So literally all vehicles can register on our application. I just want to mention here as well, this is important. As a transporter, if you're a big company, you can register as the owner of the company or as the director first and download the application. From your application, you can then access your application either on your cell phone or on your computer laptop as per the presentation. And then from your app, you can invite your managers or the loading planners, or as they say, controllers that allocate the loads to the vehicles. And they in turn can also then download and use the app, and you will see everything they do. And in turn as well, either you or your managers or loading planners or controllers, as they are called, can invite all the drivers. And the drivers then must add all the vehicles, their vehicles, with the detail as that was shortly shown. Andrea just showed the one form that's online, but everybody completes a form online, including all your vehicles details. And then you, as the manager or as the director of the company, allocate a driver to specific vehicles on the app. So you can basically manage all your drivers and vehicles on the app. And we focus on the 4 main actions that is taking place during transport of goods by road. The first one we identified as pending cargo. That means it's cargo that has been quoted successfully. It must be loaded, but it has not yet been loaded. Then the second one is cargo in transit. The third one is your overdue cargo. And the last one is delivered. So we cut all phone calls, as Andrea said. If you and your company and the cargo supplier uses the application, there's no phone calls. Everything is transparent on the application. For an example, once a transporter has successfully quoted for a load and his quote has been accepted, he is binded to legally to transport that load, and then he pays us the 50 cents, few cents per kilometer. In South Africa, it's 50 cents per kilometer for that load to a max of 500, which is the cheapest. No service is done what we offer at Life Rate, on that level of pricing. And then you then, after payment of Life Rate, you are prompted to assign a driver on your application. The application will then generate an SMS to the driver, and the driver will open his app, see the pickup address, see all the information needed for him to transport the goods. When he's picked up the goods, the driver, he just clicks on his app. He doesn't phone anybody. He doesn't send messages, nothing. He just clicks on the app, start transit. The app picks up his GPRS coordinates and drop a pin on the map, which everybody, including the owner of the cargo, will then see at what date, what time the driver has started transit and at what place on Google Maps he has started transit. And the driver then continues until he finishes the offload. He can take photo of the proof of delivery at his drop-off point. So everybody in real time can see a soft copy of a photo on their handheld sets or on their computers, laptops. And I can also just add here, on the cargo supplier side, even if it's a distribution center or a manufacturing plant, the dispatch manager also download the app, and then he invites his dispatch clerks, and they will capture all the loads. So he can sit at the golf course, he can sit in the house, he can be anywhere, and I'll just show you what it just looks like on the phone for those who haven't seen. That's what the app looks like on your phone. Can you see that, Andrea?
No,
It's
Rian,
just
it's
blowing a bit.
red.
I think it's because of your background
Okay.
setting.
Okay, it is most probably. But anyway, everybody
Please
can.
remove it. Because,
Yeah, everybody can go on our website and you'll easily see. So you can basically manage, and your staff both sides, transport and warehouse distribution or manufacturer dispatch, and everybody's in the loop. So the money that you're going to pay using live freight is only per load that you've successfully quoted. The rest of the time, everybody uses the application completely free. And that we have done some tests. You save already more money than what more money on your phone calls compared to what you pay live rate for a load.
Okay, thank you, Rian. Why choose Live Freight above all other transport apps?
That is a very, very good question, Sonwabu, and I enjoy answering that question. Why is number one, you are going to save a lot of time. A transporter can search for loads from the application just by typing a city or a town or an address, and he can search up to 300 kilometers radius. He's got a choice of 100, 200, or 300 kilometer radius. And within a few seconds, the app will pop up with all the loads in that area that is available. No phone calls. You can have a look at those loads. All the detail will be there. We've thoroughly thought this whole thing through. You will see the kilometers, you will see the route suggested by Google Maps, you will see the type of cargo, the weight of the cargo, what is required, if there's transit or insurance required or not. All of that is there. I must just mention also on insurance that is a sensitive point in transportation. Everybody that downloads and uses the app or company must indicate and upload proof of their insurance for freight in transit. The cargo supplier indicate when he captures a load if he has got insurance. If he captures he's got insurance, then obviously the transporter knows there's no risk for him. If the cargo supplier does not have transport, he indicates when he captures the load what type of goods in transit value does he need and for what goods. Even hazardous goods, all of these other specialized goods, there is a specific area where he indicates all of that requirements to whoever is going to find this load as a transporter. And then when they quote, they confirm their insurance policies. And after payment to Live Freight, they can also, through the Live Freight app chat, it's like your WhatsApp, they can start chatting to one another if necessary. And so there we mitigate that. That's one side. And then the other reason why they should remove that, they won't need expensive software on site or monthly. There's no monthly subscriptions fees for the software. And the other good news is, as I said, if it's a company, you don't need specific file servers at your offices to run LiveRate. LiveRate is cloud technology. That means your staff can work, they just need internet connection and they can work using any device from a laptop, desktop, tablet, cell phone, and they can work from anywhere. They can be at home, they can be somewhere visiting people, even if there's something. We know the transport industry. I mean, like everybody in the transport will really know it's a 24/7 job. You know, you have bakeries waiting for loads. Where is the load? Here you can see in real time where every load is moving, both cargo supplier and the transporter. And as I've mentioned, they don't need to be in an office. They don't need expensive software, hardware. And also, there's a lot of paper work that we cut out. Your quotation is done on live freight. It's completely tech auditable. Your proof of delivery is photos the drivers upload to that load on the application, which is also completely auditable. And there's a clear, as I mentioned before, it is completely a transparent application. Those are the major reasons why you should use this app. The other reason, which is very important, in transport industry, we know it is very difficult for transporters at times to find return loads. Uh, there are companies that does have return loads and they do hard work, but it comes at a cost for them to get enough connection to find out its emails, its hours of telephone calls. On our application, you can imagine if I can just explain to people how easy. Say, for instance, Cape Town in South Africa. I don't know the rest of Africa, but even, yes, even some parts where I've lived and worked, your return trips is minimal. But now a good example is, for instance, Cape Town. You have a lot of trucks going down to Cape Town with goods. When they reach Cape Town, they don't have return loads. No, that's over 1,000 kilometers to Gauteng from, so the truck's running empty. With our search, no phone calls. Number one, if you begin to understand how life rate works, like I mentioned, you can search up to 300 kilometers radius around any town. So take, for instance, the Durance, and you can search in the future. If you know next week, Wednesday, or 2 weeks from now, Wednesday, Thursday, you'll have a truck in Cape Town, you can already start looking and searching for loads. It takes a few seconds. You type in the Durance and 300 kilometers around the Durance. Your possibility is Cape Town, Stellenbosch, Parel, Ceres, Malmesbury, Maritzburg, and so forth, Wellington, Swellendam, all of these, Worcester, all of these areas are covered with a search. So, in other words, it's still better to get a load in Worcester for a truck going back to Gauteng than running empty. So, your scope is just so much easier and it comes at no cost to search for that load. And time wise, it's a few seconds. But here I must just mention as well, we are new. And if you understand this, how life rate function and operate, the success for life rate is dependent on how many loads we get on life rate and how many transporters. The more loads and the more transporters, the more business is there for everybody. That's why, number one, we motivate anybody with cargo loads. Put your load on life rate. It comes at no cost. It's exposed to the transporters. The more loads you put on, the more transporters will join life rate. And then your transport will happen easy. You will follow your load for the first time without contacting a web page where you link into that transporter site to follow where that load is. Everybody sees where the load is on life rate. That is in that loop. Security wise, excellent. You can go and Google and look at the benefits of using cloud technology in terms of security. And on the structure, no one else will see where your load is moving. The only people that has access to see that is the people on your app, which you have appointed on the cargo side and on the transporter side. So security-wise, it's very well. Everybody's in the loop. There's more eyes on where the load is going, and especially with security today, the driver can immediately report any problems he has on the application. Should there be emergency, if he's got a flat tire, or if he's running into problems, he can quickly contact on the app, and then all his managers and the owner of or so will be able to see his message. So that's quite effective and efficient. And I believe that's quite a good thing to have. Thank you, Sonwabo.
Sure, that was a thorough explanation. You've made reference of 50 cents as you were talking. 50 cents,
Yes.
you're throwing
Yes.
the 50 cents number.
Mm.
And at this point, I think we need to look at and ask you a question. How do the cost of using the app compare to other service providers? The service providers that still needs to email a form that people have to fill, and the form goes back and a quotation is sent. You sign the form, it goes back, it comes back, they confirm that there's going to be a pickup on such a date. And at the end, you depend on them coming back to you, confirming that day, either calling or sending emails. If we look at all that, that administrative work, and you compare it as a cost, rand and cents, with your app, how cheap is it? How cost effective is it?
Yes, Sonwabu, thank you for that question. And again, it's a pleasure to answer that question coming from Life Rate. First of all, as we said, the people can work from anywhere where they are. You don't need to fill in forms. The big forms will be filled in online when people register. When people register, everybody that we don't give them the app unless they have completed all compulsory. It's like opening an online bank account to get a Life Rate app. But once you're through that, you've got the app and you're ready, set to go. You don't need forms. What's happening really is the cargo supplier, if it's an individual who's got a small harvest of tomatoes, or if it's a big corporate company with big loads, they capture their loads for free on Life Rate. They use the cargo supplier app always at no cost. And that baffles a lot of people. And I say, but how? Now, why we do that is the more loads we have, the more we can service the transporters and the more opportunities there for transporters. And now to come back to the cost. So number one, cargo supplier, no cost. Doesn't matter if it's a distribution center using the application, a big corporate company using the application, or an individual who wants to move parcels or goods. Then on the transporter side, the transporters, again, they fill out all the necessary information we require before we give them the app. And that doesn't mean only the guy at the top. If it's the director of the company that first download, he must put in the company's registration number, the company's tax number if it's applicable, the company's address, Google Maps link, the physical address, his own information. Then also his subordinates, the managers who manages his fleet and allocate the loads. When they register, the same. They need to complete also online a lot of information, like I say, a bank account, opening a bank account. So we have got that whole company's staff's information. And now people ask again, security and information. We have our POPI Act in place. We have our terms of service, privacy policy. Google has approved our webpage, so we comply with all the Google requirements. So your information is safe with Life Rate. And then your drivers, they must upload a photo of their ID or passport. They must upload a photo of their valid driver's license. All the vehicles, registration number, license number, make, model, everything is being filled. So we have all that information. So we know who is using this application, right up from the management, right to the drivers. And we have verified everybody's email address and their cell phone number to mitigate business risk. Then on the transporter side, to come back to the financials, I just brought in this so people is normally worried about that the pricing is a problem. Now, what does the transporter get? He gets this application, both him, his subordinates, his management, and all his drivers, and everybody, all of them use and get the application for free. There's no monthly payments, nothing. Now, where do we make money? Because of our scalability, meaning we can handle and we trust we will have one of these days tens of thousands vehicles and loads moving on Life Rate. because of this, the way we and our product that we offer to the market. So what does the transporter then pay? The transporter only pays life rate when he has found a job. That means he has successfully quoted for a load. So he's got a vehicle that's going to pick up goods. So in other words, he is going to make money. Only for that load, the transporter pays us 50 cent per kilometer to a maximum of 500 rands. Okay, so even if the load must go from Cape Town to Chingola in Zambia, that is 2,600 kilometers. He will only pay us 500 rand, and that load is his, and he can monitor it right from here, cross border, everywhere, and see. And also the owner of the cargo can see that. So what we offer at the cost that we say, and I want to also mention, this is now loads above 2,500 kilograms. Okay. Loads below 2,500 kilograms, listen carefully, they pay us 1 rand plus 1 cent per kilometer. In other words, for a 1-ton pickup bucket to find a load on us and he's successfully quoted for it, he's going to pay life rate only 2 rand on a 100-kilometer distance delivery. Within a town, he's going to pay us 1 rand 10 cent, 1 rand 50 cent, 1 rand 60 cent, and then he will transport his goods at that cost. And what I'm saying to you now, if a transporter is a big truck is leaving Cape Town, and by the time he reaches Gauteng, how much money have he saved on cell phone calls between him and the owner of the cargo? Because everybody sees in real time on their handheld set, on their computers from anywhere, exactly where this driver is and how is the progress of that delivery.
Rian.
Yes.
In terms of rands and cents in comparison, let's say have you managed to compare yourselves versus, I'm going to use such names, ABC Transport, Pete Pompis, C Podlamini. How do you transport and logistics? How do you compare to other entities?
It's a difficult question to answer because to date we have not seen any solution that works like life rate.
Okay.
And I have done quite a few presentations to various entities, and I've heard the remark very often from them. They said to me, Rian, you are a real disruptor.
Okay.
So meaning there is no existing yet an existing system that offers the transport industry what we offer and at this low cost that we offer. So we really rely on more loads joining life rate, more transporters. Here I can make a comparison. I don't know if the guys remember when Uber started in South Africa.
Yeah.
Then there was sometimes I was in the outskirts of the town, and then I was looking for an Uber, and it will tell me there's no car, and then you can see there's 10 or 15 vehicles, but they are in town center, and that's how Uber started. Today, you can be in any big in Gauteng, for an example, or around Cape Town and the surroundings. It takes you 2 to 5 minutes and you have a Uber driver ready to pick you up. And we believe we are going to be the same. We are starting slow. When there's not many loads, the guys must be patient. The more loads we get on board, the more transporters we get on board, the quicker the interaction is going to take place on life rate. And then there's going to be big savings and better control for everybody. And now we come back again also cost. I want to mention cost. Your chances on life rate in the end to get return loads is so much better. And any transporter will know what I'm talking about. If you can increase your return loads with 5%, that's big money for a transporter. 10%, that's big money. And today's time on cost again, we have to move away from long time-consuming processes, as you've mentioned yourself, emails, telephone calls. We have to cut that out because that comes not only at wasting time, but also cost. We have to become more lean and mean and save money, but at the same time, also give the opportunity for transporters to increase their vehicles capacity. And that is what we believe we are offering to the transport industry. And we need to get that message far and wide across board to all the transporters in Africa. Rural, anybody can put a load on and he can find a transporter that can load it. So
Rian,
also
just
communication wise, we save a lot of time in all over Africa.
And just to also add to your question, Sonwabu, there are people who have come to us and said, but they've seen this or that app or platform which looks similar. But we need to realize the concept of life rate is to directly connect cargo suppliers and transporters. We do not act as a third party. With all these other applications, there's always other costs involved, such as monthly fees. They essentially do act as third party logistics providers. That's the difference between life rate and the other applications or platforms. And with third party logistics providers, you're always going to have a smaller profit margin. When you use life rate, your profit margin will drastically increase. You will see it already, not only with regards to the cost of the service that we give you, but the cost that you're cutting out by using the service that we offer, such as Rian has mentioned with phone calls. Phone calls are especially very high in the transport and logistics industry.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. We're talking continental here.
Yes.
So how does the app empower individuals, and how does it work cross-border?
Okay. How it empowers an individual is most people does have a cell phone.
Yes.
So anyone that's got a cell phone have free access to use life rate. Okay. Here I also want to mention, we also have on Udemy, the online academy, there is a free training course that takes about less than an hour on how to use life rate. And that's for free, completely free. Udemy, you can just Google Udemy and life rate. Now, we empower the people who's got cell phones. If they choose to use life rate, it comes at no cost. They only use data. And they can download the application and they can start using it to move goods or to transport goods if they have a vehicle as an individual or as a company. So that is the first step on how we empower people. And on the training side, we have a free Udemy training course. And that is not possible for these people if we talk overall in Africa. You know, like we say, in bigger cities, yes, you can always contact a service provider in terms of logistics. But in the broad sense in Africa, who can provide a logistics service to any individual? Life Rate can do that. All they need is internet connection and a smart device, as we've mentioned before. That is all that they need to come on board and to start with the entrepreneurship by moving goods or transporting goods. Cross-border. Let's come to cross-border. Okay. Here you can compare life rate like your Gmail account, your Facebook account. Okay. So when the driver leaves South Africa, he goes into Botswana. Most of the drivers, they have data and internet connection nowadays in any country where they are. They either swap SIM cards or the company provide them with a device that has got internet connection everywhere. So they can transport their goods from South Africa cross-border, or from Malawi to Tanzania, or from Tanzania to Zambia, Kenya to Zambia. And when they go cross-border, their device must just have internet connection. Then they will still be on live freight, and Google Maps is active across the continent. So you can still follow that driver cross borders right up until he delivers, and you can see the proof of delivery when he has delivered.
Okay, thank you, Rian. And you've touched on risk mitigation, but I think in about 2 minutes or 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, if you can just touch on how is business risk mitigated. If a client uses a logistics or transport company that is affiliated to live freight, uh, how do you ensure that risk is mitigated?
Okay, the two ways we mitigate risk is with the registration process, where we verify email and cell phone, and where we ask relevant information such as ID and company registrations, uh, and etc. Um, so there already, before we give anyone the usage of life rate, they have to complete the registration form process. The other thing is on the rating system, where we rated, Andrea did in the presentation. Remember, when a driver delivers the goods, okay, let me say, before he picks up the goods, we know the registration number of the vehicle, we have the driver's cell phone number, we have his manager's cell phone number and his director's cell phone number, and we've got all the information of that company. If it's an individual, we've got the ID number, we've got the license of the driver, we've got the photo of the ID or the passport, etc., and also confirmation of email and cell phone verification. So by the time the driver picks up the goods, the people, when the transit is started, the owner of the cargo can see the registration number of that vehicle that's coming to pick up on the app. So he can immediately cross-check, is that the real registration on the truck? Okay. Then when the driver goes and he delivers, he is then rated. When he delivers, the driver is rated by the cargo supplier on service and punctuality, 1 to 5. How the goods was handled in transit, 1 to 5. Communication, 1 to 5. And the appearance of the vehicle and the driver, 1 to 5. The transport company rates the cargo supply company on the payment, punctuality, 1 to 5, on the information and detail about the load, 1 to 5, and then communication, 1 to 5. So yes, should a person start using live freight and he wants to do irregularities, on our terms of service, we make it very clear that even if we have the slightest hint someone is misusing this application, we will deactivate his account, and all the information is given us. If authorities are investigation cases, then obviously by law, we comply with the POPI Act, but by law, we can then expose that information to the powers that needs it for investigation. So that's also part of how we mitigate business risk. And also the drivers, the transport company, I can mention it here as well. What we do on live freight is the person who owns the cargo captures the load and he indicates his payment terms as it can be COD, 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Okay. And then should the transporter decide he's going to quote for this, he can overrule those terms. He can take the chance and say, I want to do this job, but I'm not happy with a 60 or 30-day payment. I'm gonna take the chance and say COD, but I'll give the guy a good quotation. Then he must pay me when I deliver. So we empower the transporters there as well. So quickly you will see on live freight, we will clear the industry of irregularities. And believe me, and I believe there's a lot of transporters maybe listening here today who has had their fingers burned by not being paid for services they've rendered. And on our application, you indicate quickly if you are not getting your money in real time, as agreed per the quotation that was accepted. And that will then reflect on that cargo supplier. And quickly he will then no longer be able to utilize the benefits of live freight. So the rating system is very powerful. We've seen it in Uber, we've seen it in Airbnb, and a lot of other applications. That is even more powerful than bank reports.
Rian, I think we're coming towards the end. Tell me something. With all said and done, you've covered the cost, you've covered efficiency, you've covered ease of use, you've covered how you enable basically the environment to operate seamlessly without any paperwork. Would you conclusively say that you empower the individuals and companies to grow their businesses when they work with live freight?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we do empower them because we give them something that they have not had before. Before joining live freight, what are they doing and how are they operating? That is the question I want answered. And the answer is with live freight, they have free exposure, they have free search functionality, they manage their whole business in one application from their cell phone. And that is what they will have. So, yes, we do empower them and we give them a lot more at the lowest cost. For the cargo supplier, it's completely free. At lowest cost that you can find this type of service to date in the market.
Thank you. I think we've covered, unless there's something else that you want to give as a parting shot. For people who are going to watch this video and people that are watching now, I think you've covered all questions or possible questions. It has been a thorough, detailed session of, with us conversing. Do you have any parting questions that will linger on people's minds and push people to come running to your organization or your business?
Andrea, have you got something to say?
Well, basically, I just want to conclude by saying in today's world, we all struggle financially. I'm sure most of us, at least, especially with the current socioeconomic status. We're all looking for ways to save costs. And you have to realize that life rate is not only for transporters and suppliers. We want to empower anyone to become an entrepreneur. And so many people have started doing their own small businesses on the side to, try and generate more income. And literally any person that has the initiative and wants to start their own business, whether they're baking goods at home or if they've got a vehicle just standing at home with no jobs, you can use Life Rate app. You can familiarize yourself with the transport industry and start using Life Rate app and essentially grow your business. So it's really, we are lowering the barriers to entry to create wealth. And I thank you very much for the session. And if you have any further questions, please visit our website. We have a chat function, or visit Facebook. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Thank you very much for the time, Sonwabu.
Rian, before you
Yes.
go,
No, I would like to.
I like listening to you. before you
Yeah.
go,
Thank
how
you.
many countries is Live Freight present right now? Or how many
Um,
countries have you done business?
okay, I'm going to answer that, but I'm also going to put a story behind it, a closing statement behind it.
Okay.
Um, Life Rate, we have engaged with Cloud Tech,
Mm-hmm.
and we are doing digitalization of the industry. We are offering digital solution that is cloud-based, and that has enabled us as a young startup to activate the application in 57 countries. So we are already in 57 countries. In Africa, we are in Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Malawi, Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Zambia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Angola, Namibia, and South Africa. So all the way from Uganda right down sub-Saharan Africa. And then we have also included Nigeria, because that is a huge, huge market. We are active also in Nigeria. And then we are focused at the moment only on the African countries with our budget. We are still sourcing funding, and then we will expand. Um, we are also available in Australia, India, Pakistan, Turkey, all 27 European Union countries we are active, and in Britain and the islands, and New Zealand, and in Canada. That is where our footprint currently is, and we believe that we will soon move into those markets. But our core focus at the moment is our home ground, Africa. And we believe that also with this digital technology that we've used, that has enabled us that we can put something out there for the normal person on the street and the big corporates and small and medium companies. We have done something here that can benefit everybody. And also, what we have done, as Andreas mentioned in our presentation, is we are removing the barriers to entry. What does that mean? It means now anybody with a vehicle can find loads. And if he's got a better rating than some big companies, he can he has most probably a very good chance of getting that quotation, because his rating is very good, and if his cost is at a very good cost, then he can do it. If it's a big company, the same. If the rating of the company is very good and the truck drivers are very good, that's excellent. So it's also a motivator for any individual using this application to perform at a higher level because of the rating. If it's a cargo supplier individual, he's going to be proud if his rating is very good, and he'll get more business. And the same with an individual transporter. If he's get more better rating, then he's going to get more loads if his quotation is in line or competitive with the market out there.
Thank you, Rian.
Thank you very much, Sonwabu. It's very nice to talk to you again, and we appreciate it so much to giving us this exposure. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
very much,
Sonwabu.
Andrea. Andrea is always available. Andrea communicates. Thank you very much, Andrea. You make life easier dealing with you or with Live Freight.
No problem.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Rian, again for being here. I think from PAICTA, we have to say thank you to our listeners who take time to come and listen, and people that are going to listen to this video when it is on our library in the YouTube channel. It's on LinkedIn streaming right now. It's on YouTube streaming right now. And it's on Twitter streaming as we're talking right now. So
Wonderful.
it's up to you as well, Ryan and Andrea, to go and like it and push it forward so that it can reach areas that are not in our immediate ecosystem.
Wonderful. Thank
Yes,
you.
we'll
We'll do.
definitely do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a blessed rest of the week. It's an Easter week, so please stay safe. If you're not traveling, keep well, rest, and let's be ready for next week, Monday. All of us back at work, healthy. Thank you to everyone. I always appreciate doing this. I love the conversations. And it's something that PAICTA has set up to ensure that people have got access to international markets, or people internationally have got access to local markets, as we are based in South Africa right now. All of us who are on this line, on this platform, thank you very much. God bless.
God bless. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.